Creative Cauldron would like to present our adaptation of The Little Mermaid. Once upon a time, in the deepest region of the ocean, there was a palace. The king of the sea lived with his mother. And his daughters. The king's daughters were all mermaids. They did not have legs, but only had long fish tails. Grandmother told the youngest mermaid,
When you're 15, you can swim to the ocean surface. You're able to see the ships, cities, and forests.
but the little mermaid wasn't patient.
I want to see the world above me now.
Time passed, and at last the little mermaid celebrated her long-awaited 15th birthday. The little mermaid rose as lightly as a bubble. As she reached the water's surface, she saw a great ship on the high sea. Aboard the ship, a prince was celebrating his birthday.
I love to sail on the sea.
Suddenly, the sky became dark and a terrible storm broke out. The mast split and the ship began to sink. The prince was going to drown in the sea. The little mermaid rescued the prince and laid him on the beach as she sang.
I don't know when, I don't know how, but I know something's starting right now. Watch and you'll see. Someday I'll be part of your world.
The little mermaid swam away, hiding behind the sea foam. It wasn't long before a group of people led by a beautiful woman in a royal dress walked past the prince on the beach.
Hello? Are you all right?
The prince slowly awakened and smiled through half-open eyes at the young woman in the beautiful dress.
When I saw you laying motionless on the beach, I was worried. I'm glad you're all right.
Once the beautiful woman was assured the prince was safe, she left him on the beach. The following day, the little mermaid returned to the beach hoping to catch a glimpse of the prince, but she couldn't find him. She quickly swam to her grandmother and asked,
Remember forever?
Their lives are shorter than ours. We live to be 300 years old before turning into the foam of the waves. Men die earlier, but their souls go up to the stars.
I give up 300 years to be a human for just one day.
Don't say such things. You'd have to give up your tail, and a man would have to love you, giving you his soul without losing his own.
So the little mermaid sought out the sea witch who lived beyond the whirlpools in the deepest part of the ocean.
I know why you're here. You want to change your fishtail into legs. Well, I have a potion for you. But if you take this potion, you can't go back to your father's palace. And if the prince marries someone else, your heart will break and turn into sea foam. I understand. Now, this potion has a price, your voice. You have the most beautiful and captivating voice in the Sea Kingdom, and it will be mine. Mwah, ah, 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 ah. Mwah, ah, 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 ah. Mwah, ah, 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 ah.
The little mermaid swam to the surface and took the potion. Her fish tail disappeared and she became human. She fainted from the pain, but when she awoke, the prince was standing by her side on the beach.
Who are you? Where did you come from? You remind me of someone who once saved me from a shipwreck, but it couldn't have been you. You had the most beautiful voice.
The prince was very kind to the little mermaid. Each day the little mermaid loved the prince more and more, but she could not tell him. One day it was announced that the prince was to marry a princess from a neighboring country. The prince told the little mermaid,
My parents are making me meet the princess, but no one can force me to marry her. My heart belongs to the one who saved me from the shipwreck.
Meanwhile, the sea witch was watching the prince fall in love with the little mermaid, so she knew she had to take matters into her own hands. She transformed herself into a human and joined the prince aboard his ship. The prince arrived with his attendants in the neighboring country. He was greeted with a large party. He met the princess, who was as lovely as a fairy tale queen. The prince recognized the princess. She was the young woman who walked on the beach the morning he awoke from the shipwreck. The sea witch quickly gave the princess the little mermaid's voice, and the princess began to sing.
I don't know when, I don't know how, but I know something's starting right now.
It's you! I finally found you!
The little mermaid felt her heart breaking. She could never tell the prince that the princess wasn't the one who saved him from the shipwreck. She would have to return to the sea, changed forever to foam. She waved goodbye to the prince and disappeared into the sea.